Always important to have a plant behind you. It shows you're spiritual, you know. Another one. And a picture of plants. A few candles. I'm looking spiritual. Tanya is my friend, and she was a hairdresser, and she's been giving me advice on my hair lately, and she's saying it's looking awesome. This is called the saltwater look, like the beach look. It's also, I've been biking twice today for 2 hours. I've been repairing the bike. I keep getting punches. Okay, so we've got to post it on Facebook. Beach Babe, it's called. It's called Beach Babe, the look. All right, to you. Right to you. So just let me make a cup of tea, and then I'll be with you. I can tell I'm going to need the radiators. Hey, Jessie. Hi, Aline. Hi, Julie. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Renate. I'm just reading in the chat, and Richard says to Tanya, Tanya, you are the guru's hair guru? And Tanya replies, I am Richard. A very hard job it is too. But I didn't read that because of my dyslexia. I thought Tanya just said to Richard, I am Richard, like in a spiritual way. Like, wow, Tanya's really going deep there. I am Richard. Shoot. Alanga is in. Hey, Alanga. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Richard. Hey, Paolo. Hey, Kariziga. Sorry. Hi, Julie. Hi, Titan. Hi, Hugo. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Kelman. 567. Hi, David. Hi, John. Hello, hello, hello. Goodbye. That's what I did on Sunday. I've had a super busy day again. A lot of it today has been about fixing my bike. I'm a passionate bike rider. I'm sure I've said that before. And I'm not a very good French speaker, and I live in France, and I think I've got him to put on the wrong tyres, and I keep getting punctures. So I've been trying to fix it with my friend, and then he gave me a new chain. I think we had something like, there's 2 holes we found, 2 punctures we found, but I think then on top of that, we had another 10 punctures. Although he wasn't sure how many holes there were just lots.
Then I've also been working on this new script. I'm sure I tell you that as well, but I'm a theatre writer. I was trained in theatre writing and I write films and TV. And been working on this new one, which is very exciting. I love doing it. And then organising retreats as well. So busy Lisa. Busy Lisa. I have lots of lists of things to do. And I've also been listening to music as well. I wish I could play you guys some music, but so much of it's copyrighted. But you know, I know a song that isn't copyrighted, so I'm going to play you that. This is a beautiful, beautiful song. Okay, I just have to put it in a screen, 1 second. Okay, this should work. Let's try. Oh, hang on. To go back to Wirecast and then I go like that. Yeah! It works! Oh, except I haven't got the volume on. Okay, here we go. Oh.
God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. And I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine.
Oh.
Make us see a light shine now. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. And I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I think I see a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, thought I saw a light shine. And I thought that I saw a light shine. I think I see a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful.
Wow, that's such a cool song. Amazing. Whoops. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to play that one. I have to know the copyright beforehand. Just putting Skype back in. I had to take Skype out to... Oh, come on, Skype. Okay. There we go. I just have to turn my volume down a little. clean out the eyes before we start talking. Make sure they're well presented. They are well presented. Roll up the sleeves. Ready? Okay. Okay, now we talk about non-duality. So hi guys, welcome to live stream. This happens every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. French time, and you're very welcome to join. And you join me here on YouTube channel. I should appear at 6 o'clock on Wednesday and Sunday. You can also find out more information on my website, which is basically my name, so www.lisacairns.com. I have some up-and-coming events that you might want to join. The first event that I have is in Cairns, Spain, next month, the 4th to the 11th of March. And that's a retreat. There is still 2 or 3 spaces left, so you can book onto that if you want. Then I have talks in Paris, the 28th and the 29th of April, which is a Saturday and Sunday. I think it's the 28th and 29th of April. And that's 2 full-day talks in Paris. Don't know why I called it Paris, but Paris. And that will be translated into French. And then the next event I do after that is I do a retreat in the south of France from the 17th of June until the 17th till the for a week, or the 16th for a week, I think. I forgot the dates. The 16th of June for 1 week, and that's in a very beautiful town in the south of France. Very beautiful medieval town, just on the outside, right on the river. So the building is right on top of the river. Maybe I could talk a little bit about what I do in the retreats. So I try as much as possible to do things on retreats spontaneously. Obviously, we plan that we have 4 hours talk a day. We plan when lunch is and dinner. But I try to follow the flow and the energy of what's coming up in the people. And I speak about non-duality. And then I also do some exercises and chats about how the seeking manifests in daily living. So I maybe speak to someone one-on-one about their particular seeking pattern. And I also often use dancing, because there's a lot of sitting around. So we dance to all types of different music. But I change things around and do things differently. There's also, I do a lot of walking, but I tend not to walk with people so much on retreat sometimes. But normally I do retreats in nature, so there is the possibility for a lot of walking or biking. Both of the ones are vegetarian, vegan, and organic, or mostly organic. And at both retreats, Khaleesi will be present. But she's not interested in making friends. She likes to be ignored. That's her particular thing. She doesn't really like interacting with humans. But she's so beautiful to look at. When I'm walking down the street, she's a street dog from Thailand, so she, in the West, is normally a very undesirable dog because she's like a mongrel or a mixed breed, or no breed. But I'm walking down the street and people come up running, asking what type of dog she is and where they can get one. She is very cute. I think it's because she looks like a wolf, and people have this excitement around wolf and wildness, but they're not conscious of it. So it's ended up that my biggest advertisement for the retreats is Khaleesi is going to be there. Wow. Good job, Lisa. You can see that I've been thinking about advertisement and how to advertise. And basically what I'm talking about, so if you're new to my talks or if you wonder what the hell is this crazy woman talking about, what I'm actually talking about is the pointing back to a freedom that's always present. And I talk about psychology and I talk about philosophy and all different things, but basically the objective of these talks is to remind or to point to that which is beyond anything we think, feel, or anything that goes into time. And you can't even say it's beyond, it's almost like dead in the center of everything. And so in the world of form, life is crazy because it's always changing. Life is change, one thing to another, to another, to another. And so for the human that believes it is a body-mind and it is something fixed, life can be really challenging because you're trying to stay as a fixed, solid person when that's not the reality. You as a person is always changing. The illusory you as a person is always changing. The body's always changing. The environment's always changing. Life is always in change. But there's something that never changes. And this is home and this is freedom. And that was never really meant to be forgotten about. But it just got veiled by humans' incessant thinking. And the belief that who they are is something that's found in thought. So who you might think you are is a description of yourself. So a happy person, a sad person, a funny person, somebody that's beautiful or ugly or fat or thin or rich or poor, somebody that's done things, somebody that's argued, somebody that's guilty, somebody that's innocent. So you might have all these different ideas of who you are, when in reality that's simply a description of the body-mind mechanism. It's not actually a description of who you truly are. But the who you truly are part is what's been forgotten. The person solely thinks that they're that person moving in time and that they are a description in time. But there's so much more to you. You're so vast and huge, and there's an element to you that's free. And this subject, unfortunately or fortunately, isn't going to fix your life. So if you need to fix your mountain bike, or if you need to get a new job, or if you go broke, non-duality isn't going to fix that. Non-duality is talking about a peace and a freedom that is in all of that. It's not going to wipe you of conditioning. It's impossible to be an unconditioned human body, but it's going to show you a freedom in that conditioning, in the middle of it. It will more than likely even out the conditioning to an extent and make the conditioning more obvious. And the conditioning flow easier, but you're never going to uncondition your particular dynamics. Normally in spirituality, there's so much focus on reconditioning yourself and becoming perfect or unconditioned. And that happens to an extent with non-duality, and I do talk about dynamics and behavior dynamics. I think there's an element to that, but ultimately that's not the goal. The goal is finding a freedom that's beyond all of it. So what is the freedom? Let me try and describe that now. The freedom is this instance, is that which is looking and experiencing itself. And that which is looking and experiencing itself isn't separate from all things that are appearing. It's right here, right now, who you truly are. It's totally empty of a thing, totally innocent, and simultaneously it is all things. So your thoughts pop up and say, what's she talking about? How do I understand it? But when those thoughts stop or they pop up without any meaning, it's seen that actually the inside and the outside world don't actually exist. There is only life happening, and that life isn't actually happening to someone. Life is one energy experiencing itself, and that someone is appearing and disappearing in that one energy. That separate person who you believe yourself to be isn't the experiencer. The experiencer is totally empty, and that's why it's free, and it's totally full, and that's why it's love. It's so beautiful. And then eventually there becomes this awakening where it's seen so clearly that who you are is a boundless freedom beyond form. And then that the person carries on, but the person is different. So the character carries on, but it's different. It's no longer the experiencer. But there is a merging of that. So there is this waking up to the freedom, and then there is this person, this character that appears, but the character is no longer the experiencer. The character still appears. And that realization and that integration into the character is an endless process that always can get deeper. But the realization, who you are is boundlessness, is always instantaneous. Can never be anything but instantaneous. The person actually can't realize it, but that realization can affect and change the person. But the goal isn't coming to a perfect person. The goal on the personal level is to be open to that change, open to that growth, open to what life is bringing. And so, on the personal level, I don't want you to project on that Lisa has got her life sorted and lives this perfect divine life and never has problems. That's not the case. Lisa still is open to working on conditioning and working on relationships and working on how you live this, and how you speak about this as well. So recently somebody was asking me in an online talk that I did yesterday, someone was asking me how to stay in presence while dealing with a close family member that was violent. And so I can point things out about that, but I'm not all-knowing on the personal dynamic levels. That's still something that we can all of us learn more about and grow in, of understanding how humans work and the conditioning of humans and how we can live as a more peaceful society. But I don't want there to be the projection onto this instrument that I know all these things. I can be a pointing, and that pointing can help there be a deeper exploration, but that's not my expertise. My expertise is pointing to a freedom that's here. But sometimes the person needs to be talked about and the seeking dynamics need to be talked about. But I just want to try to explain these things very clearly, because I'm aware now from being a teacher for so many years that the projection onto the teacher gets so big in the mind that you put onto the teacher that there's some sort of God that has this perfect life, and then you compare yourself below them as something up there. And that's not true either. That's just what your mind's doing with everything. The mind, depending on your state of mind and your seeking energy, your mind will always be looking to validate what it feels in that moment. So if it's feeling like a lower energy and not enough, or feeling lost, then it will look for something above it to lead it or to validate that it's not enough. So those sorts of dynamics come from the mind. They're not a reality. They're not true. So the freedom that's been talked about here isn't a form-based thing. So it's not that the person gets awakened. The effect of awakening can have a profound effect on the conditioning and the makeup of the form, but the freedom is the movement back to who you truly are, which is this still watching that is not limited, that is everywhere, and is totally empty. And the emptiness side is the freedom. The love side is the love, but the emptiness, because it's not happening to someone. It's all clean. There's nobody that suffered. What suffered is a bundle of energy that's kind of bundled together, you know, like those flying balls that go through the desert, and it keeps collecting up more and more stuff, and it feels like it's somebody, but it's actually a collection of all this stuff that's flying through time, and the attention is very closely on that. But who you are is this empty watching that is love, and that watching isn't separate from all things. Like, so if you say consciousness, the consciousness isn't separately watching, it is everywhere and all things, and that's the amness side. So lately I've been splitting it up and I've been calling it consciousness and the amness. And the amness is the everything side, the love, and the consciousness is the emptiness. But really they're together. They're not separate. So the consciousness is looking at itself, it manifests, and as soon as it manifests, the amness, the sense of being, goes out. So that consciousness that's looking, and then it manifests, and then the sense of being. And so that is always present. That is always here. Always here. What comes and goes is all your feelings and your experiences and your memories and your ideas and personal awareness. Often when waking up and on this path, People believe that liberation is bliss, but bliss is a side effect that is being experienced. That's not it. So they believe they get it and they lose it. So as soon as they feel anger or disharmony, they feel they've lost it, which isn't true. But that has to keep presenting itself until it's seen that that stillness is in all things. It's in fear, it's in joy, it's in sadness, it's in grief, it's in betrayal, it's in jealousy, it's in, what other things are there? Pain, physical pain, in illness, in everything. It never left, it can never leave. But what comes and goes is this energy that sucks in the consciousness and the amness to all the feelings, thoughts and ideas and makes it feel like somebody's inside the head having an experience and controlling life. And that's not true. There's nobody here. There is no one. You think you're sitting looking at me and it's the biggest joke. There is nobody looking. There is a thought and a sensation that's saying, I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm in here, I'm in here. And it really feels like that, but actually there is looking and beingness, which isn't inside or outside, it's everywhere. It's not an inside world or an outside world, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, we take some questions now. So if you want to ask me questions, the way you do that is through my Skype. And my Skype address is Lisa Cairns 12. So Lisa Cairns 12. So you can just send me a request on Skype. I sometimes look at chat. Mostly because I think that you think I'm not looking and it sometimes makes me laugh. If there's been anyone rude on chat, you guys can all just pick on them and chuck them out. And so, no, not pick on them and being nasty. I don't mean that. I mean pick on them as in you can click on them and you can get them to leave, report, remove. So you guys do that, and then eventually it will click them out. Because sometimes you have people that come on here and it's funny, they already, before they come on here, they know they don't like me, so they already have some sort of thing that they don't like about me. But they come on here to be rude, and then they tell themselves it's okay because it's non-duality and it's happening, it's life happening, it's not them doing it. Cop out. Mixing up the relative and the absolute. On the relative level, it's on the relative level, it's better that you, instead of acting out, although acting out is one way, is just become aware of the feelings, so the conditioning. So if you don't like me, there's not many people here that don't like me, I don't think, but if there is that sensation, because I know there is someone that regularly comes in here to do this, that sensation comes up, and that's just a conditioning. So when you were a child, somebody like me more than likely hurt you. So maybe I remind you of your mother, maybe I remind you of your sister, maybe I remind you of that girl at school, and your mind associated pain with me. And you think that the dislike of me is something to do with non-duality and the way I speak, but it's totally not. It's simply conditioning, and pain comes up with my image. That's not saying that you have to get through that pain and put up with me and listen and force yourself through it, but it's just recognizing that, recognizing what's happening, and then decide that there is a no to me, and then move on. But just recognize that it's got nothing to do with non-duality. It's got nothing to do with this subject. It's to do with a past pain coming up again. But more than likely you won't want to do that because the conditioning of that pain is too painful. So if you keep telling yourself that it's me and that I'm the problem, your attention stays up in your head area, and that pain that you feel in your stomach, that pain that happened in your childhood, is never dealt with. It's never released from the body. But what will happen is more than likely your body knows there's some form of trauma in it. So your mind will keep wanting to go back to that trauma because there's a disbalance in the body. So the mind wants to find out what that disbalance is, but there's also this resistance to actually feel what's going on in the body. And I say this not from arrogance, I say this from years and years of exploring what it is to be human. That's what my exploration has been over the last 20 years, is exploring what it is to be human. And there was this one amazing discovery that I had that didn't belong to me, but I'm just putting it in personal words, but this discovery that who I actually am isn't human, who I am is everything and nothing, but that everything and nothing is having a human experience. So it's looking through a human form. And these human forms are conditioned. And so everything that you see and feel in this reality is conditioning of that body-mind mechanism. And each body-mind mechanism has its own reality. And that reality, the way that these instruments are set up, is through pain and pleasure. We register that which gives us pleasure, and we register that which gives us pain, and we move towards the pleasurable things, and we move towards the painful things. And most of it's feeling. So when something gives us a good feeling, we move towards it. A bad feeling, we move away from it. And so it could be just seeing a car on the road, and there's a negative association with a car. It's painful, and then you tell yourself the story, I don't like cars, cars are bad, it's da-da-da-da, and you tell yourself a whole story, and inside your body, the simple experience that's happening is this pain with that. When you're strongly identified, you spend 10 years telling yourself about how much you hate cars, and how evil they are, and what they've done to you, and you hate the person that's invented cars or whatever it is, you know. But I'm sure you guys all know this. You've listened to me for a long time. Okay, so we go to questions now. Hi Graham. Hi Lisa. 2 questions. Sure, Graham. Okay guys, so remember when writing me questions, I know that some of you aren't English speakers, but I have something which is really amazing, but it makes reading hard for me. I have something called dyslexia, and dyslexia is not a negative thing. It basically means a really creative mind, but it's a struggle for me to read too many words, so if when you write a question, just make sure you keep it a little bit succinct. A little bit. Recently, feelings of intense anger are brimming to the surface along with unwanted thoughts. I can feel a lot of tightness or trapped energy in the center of the forehead. I know it is impermanent, and I try to just feel it and don't chase after the feelings. Is there anything else you would recommend? So when you feel it, basically what's happening is the personal attention is moving to the attention of the discomfort in the body. So the personal attention, which you feel like you're moving, so you move personal attention inside the body, and that personal attention is being watched by the big consciousness, by the boundlessness. So you move that personal attention into the feeling. And when you move it into the feeling, right into the feeling, there is also this immediate sense of being that's there as well. It's like there's that sense of love, that sense of amness, and that empty looking in it. Normally that personal attention is really fixated on the story of you, and it's really, the attention is very in the mind, and the attention is very in what you're telling yourself about yourself. But when you move your attention into the feeling, so there's the feeling which is uncomfortable, and it's like when you go really intimately into that feeling, the feeling might even feel like it's expanding, but there's also this sense of beingness and this empty looking that's in the moment, that's in the experience. So you can oscillate between feeling that uncomfortable feeling and then seeing this massive space in which everything is. Okay. I still can't seem to go over the edge, still a sense of separateness and fear, too often sucked into the chattering monkey mind. But you can use the monkey mind. If the mind is going really crazy, use it to go deeper into the feelings. Examine what thoughts are being produced. And often, if it's going into monkey mind and there's really strong thinking, you're often not at the base feeling. You're still on more surface feeling, but there's deeper feelings there. So use the thoughts to go deeper into that feeling. Finally, totally off point, but U.G. Krishnamurti talks of periods up to a few days where it's almost like he's dead, forgets to eat, and he's only prompted into activity again by other people. Is this something you can relate to, not chasing this experience? Haha, just curious. I have had these experiences, but there's something that comes and goes. How would you deal with fantasies? Fantasies about I don't know, but if they're pleasurable fantasies, see it and allow your mind to elaborate on that fantasy and see that in elaborating in it, even without getting it, there is that sense of contentment. The mind divides and it thinks this will complete it. But even if you just imagine that which you want to complete it, there will be that sense of completion. So if you imagine the woman or the getting the money or whatever the fantasy is, or you can feel a sense of completion in it. You already have it. Whatever you're fantasizing over, you already have. I mean, that's quite creative. Hey, Beth. Hi, Markio, Markelo. Hi, Lisa. I'm from Brazil. Here is my question. I'm sort of in limbo. My seeking energy is gone, but there's also no joy, openness of the heart, so to speak, in my life. I can stay in awareness if I choose, but I feel no intimacy with life. Have you experienced like that? Thank you. That wasn't my experience because I was the opposite way around. So basically, like I was a feeling person. Basically, what you need to do is go into feelings. You're staying in removed, watching yourself from distance, but there is this sense of I am that is in everything. And this is the love side, this sense of being. And no, ultimately it doesn't belong to you. You don't stay in awareness. There is a disappearance and there is awareness. But it's all about the love side. So this sense of I am beingness. Like even saying it like, woo! Hi, Liam. Hi, Open Eye, hun. So I'm just going to answer questions from new people here. And then I will go to the older people if I have time and answer their questions. Because there's quite a lot of questions. Hi Lisa, just joining in, seeing on YouTube. No questions at the moment, but hello from Sandra. Hey Sandra. Sandra from Canada. Hi Sebastian. Hi Raphael. Hi Lisa. Yes, you're rude, nasty, and all those things. So, my wise guru. Rude. I'm not rude. Nasty. Sometimes, I can do actions that are nasty, but I don't have in my heart now. When I was younger and identified, I used to do things sometimes to make myself feel more powerful, like nasty things to put people down, or not really. I wasn't a super nasty person, but I would withhold attention, or that sort of thing doesn't really happen anymore. But I can be nasty just by default, just by being human. Like nasty as in like not being considerate or being selfish or whatever it is, but it's not purposeful anymore, if you see the difference. But I'm in no way perfect. I can tell you from close relationships. Complaints from close relationships. Although my mum said the most beautiful thing to me the other day. It really surprised me. She was looking after my dog and I was staying at home, and I was saying, that I didn't want to, because when I go back to the UK, I have to stay at their house because my house is in France. And I said I didn't like to push myself onto them, stay too long. And she said, oh, but you're not like that. You're light. It was really sweet. It was the sweetest thing my mum's ever said to me. I don't know if she meant my energy is light or what she meant. She just said it. I was so surprised. I just kind of didn't say anything back, and then something else happened and the subject got changed. I just got to let my dog in. Yay! Very serious, isn't it, Casey? Yeah? Yeah? Good girl. You okay? You okay? Yeah? Oh, did you enjoy that? Yeah? Oh, I just had an imagination of what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm hungry. So fantasies, Julia. Fantasies of what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm either going to have toast with peanut butter, or I'm going to have toast with baked beans. If you're not English and you don't know what baked beans are, try to order them over the internet, because they are really one of the best foods we produce in the UK. I'm not joking. I love baked beans. Ooh. Okay. Off the food. Hi Sanjay. Hi Laurie. Sending you lots of love. I'm in Spain in 3 weeks, Laurie. Hey, Federico. Hi, Federico. Hi, Lisa. How are you? How are you? Thanks for doing these talks. I love them. First thing I wanted to say is that you're beautiful. Oh, is that I'm beautiful? Oh, well, merci. Thank you. And my question about non-duality would be, I've been following Rupert Spira. Can you imagine with Rupert Spira if somebody was asking him a question and said, I would like to say you're beautiful? He would go very red. Shall I tell you a very funny story what happened with me and Rupert one time? Rupert Spira. No, actually, it's an inappropriate story. Sorry. Okay, carry on, Lisa. I've been following Rupert and Francis for a while in their forms of videos and books. I came to a realization that there is something in my experience, and when I experience that, I come to feel that silence and peace. The problem is that I get abscess. And I look for that state all the time. Therefore, I turn this into an activity of the mind. What would you recommend? I think I'm maybe misreading something. Obsessed, maybe? Abscess. Oh my goodness, that's really cute. Abscess in English can mean a... maybe I've got it wrong. Is when you get this pain in your tooth. Okay, obsessed. I was just reading Laurie's comment. So basically, the reason that your mind's getting obsessed is because you're challenging your conditioning. You're challenging your belief systems, and so your mind is trying to hold on to something. So it's just getting obsessed with. It's just getting obsessed with thinking and this subject. Actually, what's happening underneath is you're unlodging something. You're unlodging an addiction. So you're unlocking an addiction, and your mind doesn't know how to cope. So. Okay, let me start from the very beginning. I might have already said this, but because I've got a mind of a fish, I can't remember if I have or not, so I'll say it again. So basically what happens when we're very young children is about the age of 1, 2, 3, we identify with being this person inside the body. And at the same time, simultaneously, we're being conditioned, just like all animals get conditioned, but not all animals have separation, someone in relationship with it. But we begin to get conditioned at the same time that we identify. And so we get conditioned by our parents to not do bad things, to only do good things, to not scream in the house, to be quiet, to sit at the table nicely, to do your work. All these types of things we get conditioned with. And we've also got genetic makeup as well. And because we have this identification that happens as well, rather than the conditioning just happening and naturally happening, we identify that pleasure that we get from good conditioning is happiness and freedom. So we've had this separation and we feel there's this tiny seed that something's been lost, that there's been a mistake somewhere. And then we get the conditioning to be good and we feel pleasure from being good. And we think, it's not even a conscious thing, it's unconscious. We begin to believe that the freedom is in that pleasurable experience. So we begin to believe it's in being good and not being bad, and etc. Whatever our parents' particular conditioning was, and whatever conditioning they passed on to us. So this is the dynamic that grows. And we build up this seeker, this separate entity that's always in time and always seeking to get more and more pleasure. And it grows over time. The activity of the seeker grows over time. So it goes to school and it's taught that it's taught that being good at school is happiness, that being friends with your classmates is happiness. And then it begins to believe that anything that's painful is taking you away from that thing that you feel like you've lost. So you build up all these addictive patterns that get more and more over time. So if you've got a pattern running in you that so say if you're obsessed with the intellect, that got as a child a lot of confirmation that it was loved and appreciated when the intellect was shown and when it did well at school. You won't even be conscious of this. So what it does is it tries to get to always producing a good intellectual story and always telling itself an intellectual story and always working things out. And this just becomes the habit. Even when there's nothing to work out, it does this. And then it has this other side that it's trying to avoid, and that's not being intelligent, not understanding, not having worked things out. So it tries to avoid that sensation, that painful sensation of feeling lost, of feeling like it doesn't understand, and it tries to get to the feeling of understanding and knowledge. So I'm not saying this is you, I'm just giving you an example. And what you need to do, rather than trying to work more things out and trying to understand in time more, non-duality, you need to go to that feeling and understand and put the attention in those two feelings. So in the feeling when you get pleasure from working things out, and in the feeling of when you get pain from feeling lost and like you haven't worked things out. And this is like the reverse story. So the seeker is always trying to maintain the intellect and maintain thinking. And this is going back to the feelings that are underneath that functioning, going backwards. Because the working out of non-duality is just adding more to that addictive pattern. So this is now coming back to feeling the addictive patterns of the seeker in the body. And eventually what will begin to happen is there will be surrendering into the feelings. There will be, the person will stop living in the effect of being separate and the attempt to stay separate. It will begin to surrender into those pleasurable and painful feelings a bit more. And in that, there can be a revealing of non-duality. Well, you're really strongly seeking, everything's focused on the seeking. The more and more honest you become on the human level, there can be the seeing that who you are is beyond that conditioning, and that you don't actually find home by working anything out and not feeling lost. They are simply human feelings that appear and come and go in the body, and that the getting rid of them is not the aim, or is not the goal. The goal is seeing you are that which is experiencing that person and experiencing those feelings. But it seems like over many years of teaching now, it seems like there has to be that activity of going beyond the surface seeking levels a bit to some extent and coming back to the center. And in the center is freedom. When I say center, I mean not going in the timeline, not going in past and future. In the center of feelings is that boundless freedom. So the I amness is in the center of everything. The consciousness is in the center of everything. We think of consciousness as once removed, but it's everywhere. It's in it. Okay. So that's that. And there's always going to be conditioning that all of us are unconscious of, and deeper understanding of the conditioning, but it's coming back to the center rather than always running away in the intellect and in the mind and in stories. Stories won't free you. Stories are produced to make you more comfortable with the feelings you're feeling. And then you go right into the middle of the feelings, and then there is this boundless freedom that's endless. That's who you are. But just as a message to all of humanity, I do believe that all of us should become more conscious of our conditioning, because the human animal can be mean when it's really unconscious of its conditioning. It can do mean things. And all of us can become more conscious of our conditioning. I'm not trying to sound on my high horse here, because I'm including myself in that. And conscious of other people, because also if you become more conscious of your own and other people, then you'll also stop putting yourself in a victim position as well. So say if you feel victimed by somebody's behavior. And she's going to slip it in. You just watch how many people disappear when I slip this in. One thing that everyone can become more conscious of is the abuse of animals in our society and the meat and dairy industry. Okay. I'm not so much into the environment, I'm more into the animals, although I am into the environment to the extent. Besides non-duality, that's in the relative plan. So if you're going to use animal products, make sure you're using animal products that aren't from animals that have really suffered. It's terrible what we do to animals in our society. Oh my goodness. In 100 years, 200 years time, if humans are still alive, they're gonna look back at our society and be disgusted about what we're doing to animals. I'm not saying there's not other issues in this society, there are, but this is one that we're doing in such huge amounts. Like, people are eating meat sometimes 2-3 times a day for meals. Okay, enough, Lisa. Call if you have a moment. Hey, Matisse. I just look through, see if there's new people, but thanks for saying that. I'm not saying don't eat animal products, I'm just saying be aware of where it's coming from. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Renee. Hi, Kirsten. Namaste, Lisa. Are you aware of a field of sparkles in your field of view? It's sort of being and within everything that is solid. Since childhood, I've noticed this field as a near constant in my life. What is your experience with such? What do you think it is? Thank you, Chris. It could be this movement to a more expanded place, and your mind is interpreting it as sparkling, but I'm not sure. Could also be that you've got something on your retina in your eye. That's just a joke, but I'm not sure what it is basically. But it could be this movement to a more expanded place, and your description is sparkling. I don't know. Thank you for doing this online darshan. I'm glad that such a high-grade teacher is not demanding great enormous of money for accessing that which is inherent to all of us. P.S. I'm also dyslexic and can recommend the font Open Dyslexic, as it helps us to read text. Oh really? I've never heard of this font. I will look that up. Thank you for suggesting that. It comes with such a bad stigma, often, dyslexia. So whenever I say it, I always like to try to remind people that it's a really positive thing. It's not a negative thing. But because our society is obsessed with logic, that it doesn't understand its positivity. So thanks for recommending that. And it's my pleasure doing these talks. It's it's a real pleasure doing these talks. It's my little bit of a rebellion also, expressing this subject so open, because it's the most beautiful subject. I'm totally in love with it, and I see it as the only way of possibly changing society. But that's not the only reason I do it, but I do it because I believe that this should be open access to everybody, And I'd like to thank for all those people that come on my retreats or book sessions or donate, because that also helps me to survive and to also do a certain amount of things by donation or for free. So it's also a thank you to everyone out there who has supported me in the past. So it's great. You're welcome. It's free, and once installed it works in all sorts of programs. Oh, great. It's called Open Dyslexic. Hi, Lisa. Do you believe that humans are the creators of their own reality? Love to you and Khaleesi. No, I think the creator is beingness, which is beyond the human. But if the human is stuck in a dark story of I'm bad, I'm always going to attract bad, then it's going to be in the story of being bad and not getting and not achieving, if you see what I mean. But it's not that the human does it. The creator is beyond the human. Lisa, you are a cutie. Humour runs in your blood. Yes. Thank you. It just reminded me of this story. So some of you might know that another speaker called Roger Castillo is my ex-partner, and we lived together for 3 years in the Australian forest. We spent a lot of time together. And he was my teacher at the time as well. And after we split up, I one day said to him, so what was it that you liked most about me as Lisa? And Roger, if you've watched any of his talks, he's very serious and very to the point and very intelligent and very down to earth. And his reply was, your humour, you're very funny. And it always surprised me that out of all the things he said was humour. Because sometimes, like when I was talking to him, I would make jokes and he would just sort of be like, or not even notice. I never thought he found it funny. And it's the same when I'm doing online talks. I'm saying things, but I can't hear anyone laughing. So I'm not even really conscious that it's funny or not. It just is my perception on what's happening. When you do live talks, you're more aware of people laughing if you've said something funny. But yes, humour is a great thing. I love it. Okay, so let's see if we can find a Kali, someone to speak to. Oh, hey, Carly.
Hi.
Hey, you called, or was that an accident? You wanted to speak?
Yes.
You want
Not an accident.
not an
I'm
accident.
call lot times.
Just 1 second. I'm just going to turn your volume down. It's very loud for me. Just 1 sec.
Hi.
Hey.
I don't see you.
Oh, you don't see me. There we go.
Wow.
Hey, Carly.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Nice to meet you on here.
Thank you. you made my day today. I want
Aw.
to. It's beautiful being in contact now with you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, with pleasure. When I was seeking, I never had the possibility to experience this, because when I was seeking, it was you either went to live talks or you listened to audio recordings afterwards. So I can imagine it's quite something when you're just sat in your house watching a talk and then suddenly the speaker calls you. I can imagine it's it really feels like it very intimate, I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm following your YouTube's video since 2 years. After I went to Monsahaja in Alentejo. I'm in Azores,
Yeah.
Portugal island. It's been
And you live in Spain?
no, I live in Portugal.
Oh, you're Portuguese. Ah, nice. You've got
Yeah,
nice teachers there. You've got Muji, you've got Gangamira.
yeah, I've been there twice.
To Gangamira, to Muji.
Yes, I went there in 2015.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm from Azores, from the islands, the 9 islands.
Oh, I
Med-
see. I see. You're on the island. Yeah.
I had to take the airplane, the
Yeah.
plane to there.
Yeah.
It takes 2 hours aeroplane.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
I was very religious and just through pain, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Uh, I had that, I don't know what I told that was suffering from panic attacks.
Yeah.
And then one day I just watched a YouTube video from Emoji.
Yeah.
It was called Wake Up, uh, was medication or the truth. So one day I was having this depression so heavy and panic attacks, and I let myself go. Like I wanted to die. I wanted to see, and then everything was beautiful. Uh, I I didn't die, so but I hear it so far. I didn't know what happened to me. So all this love, all this no problem, no
Yeah.
enemies, no,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful. But w- lasts one day only, and then
Yeah.
the day after came a panic attack. I didn't know. I said, "Whoa, what is this again?" I was stopped the medication, and I didn't know what happened because I never knew about the awakening.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that this time, that's when I went to Monsahaja, but
Yeah.
never happened nothing there. I was suffering again, but I didn't know what happened, and didn't have didn't happen. You know, was I didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
But as to understand until I found out that um, the one was looking for to get that peace again was the one who had to disappear again. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But what happened when you first did it was there was an innocence there. So when you first did it, there was like a complete surrender to the experience, and so it was a very innocent thing that happened. That is beautiful. This is what happened to Eckhart Tolle, was that he just decided after years and years of suffering to go into the suffering rather than trying to run away from it. And this is what I was speaking about earlier with somebody else. But it's not really your doing, it's not really your going into it, it's just something clicks where that functioning that's always trying to avoid just turns back on itself and stops trying to avoid. And in doing that, in not going into time, you disappear because you exist in time.
yeah, I didn't know what I was. I
Yeah.
just
And it's
didn't
love.
identify. I didn't identify who I was. I disappeared, and then I started looking my hand, and was like in my room was seeing everything, but everything so beautiful, more beautiful, and the lights and the love,
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
and everything came again. So the love
Yeah.
has been
The, re-
love.
the reason it keeps coming back is because there's stuff in the body that still needs to be processed. I know it sounds a really weird thing, but there's energies in the body which the separate self is still trying to deny. So the separate self comes back and attempts to run away from those energies. And it's like that when the awakening happens, it then takes time for that to turn, because the body's had so many thousands of years of being separate. Like, it's not just your body, you're a pass on of the generations before. There isn't really somebody there. And so it takes time for that energy to switch over. But the fact that awakening happened is such a blessing. It's like it's such a blessing, because there's a taste of it. There's a knowing of that freedom all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what, now with that I know. I stopped medication 2 years. I don't take nothing. I don't need.
Wow.
I just observe and I accept everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I forget sometimes. I
Yeah.
became from a two-time relation, like married.
You came what, sorry?
Uh, I was married, and now I'm divorced.
Oh yeah.
I was married. It was awful. Was terrible.
Yeah.
Now, it was so kind to detach from my ex.
Yeah. Yeah. And just turning up your volume a little. It's a little going a little funny. Okay.
Yeah, I can listen myself.
You can.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it often does change a lot of things in life, because the more and more you
that's
become conscious of the conditioning, the more that you see that sometimes what you've attracted into your life with that conditioning isn't actually positive for you. It's keeping you in negative conditioning. So often things do change. It's quite a process.
yeah, it is a process because that peace I experienced before when I wanted to die and
Yeah,
disappeared and came back. Uh, the problem was I wanted to go to that state. That is not a state.
yeah,
And I wanted to be there, but the one now it takes time because it's almost 2 years,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I I I try don't think and observation try to
No, no.
observe.
I think it's just an honesty and a readiness to meeting this moment again and again and again. Like, and it's not really your efforts to do it, but it's just that over time, from listening to this subject, that
I try,
one that's trying to avoid just keeps coming back to the actual experience. Yeah. And I think that this is just something that takes time, that takes a period of time. Like, it's not something that happens like that.
I know
And
because it's
yeah,
so wants to
yeah, and the huge trap is the seeker gets into this dynamic of why is it taking so long, or why can't I get there, and it's just not true. That thought comes up, and you just come back to the feeling that's underneath that wants to escape. It's just seeing that nothing it produces, this thing up here, is true. It's just something that helps survival and helps fix your life. It doesn't actually describe anything about you or your experience.
life change a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Not the same again.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just
yeah,
and but I'm always wow. I'm always even staying sit down here. And today is beautiful to be in
no,
front of and feel all your love
yeah.
so strong.
Oh,
And
nice.
makes me the tears come. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's love. It's
It's love.
so powerful. It's beautiful. I can feel so much
Oh,
love.
that's yeah. Yeah, it's
So
cutting out a little bit, so I can't hear you 100%, but I get the sense that you're appreciating the love. Like, it's a little
yeah,
cutting out.
beautiful.
Nice. Oh. Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Kylie, and for calling in. It's really lovely to
Yeah,
meet you. Yeah.
I'm so happy. Thank
Yeah. Oh,
you.
with pleasure. Oh, I send you lots of love. Thank you so much. Bye. Oh, wow. It's so lovely meeting all these people that are having these awakenings. It's a bonus of the job. Yeah, Sheil. Why would I do that? I gave you the opportunity. Sheil's asking for friendship. I gave you the opportunity many times to speak nicely and openly about this subject. I'm not here for anyone to be rude to. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lisa. While the last online retreat, I could see that it is believed here or learnt Okay, I have to quit some apps. Something's happening. Okay, let me just check that everything's still working okay. Whilst the last on-night retreat, I could see that it is believed here or learned that a feeling will never come back when it was felt deeply enough. This concept seems to be a lie. Yes! As you, for example, told about experiences of your friend he made by skydiving. Yes, I can feel it. I can feel in a way that there comes up an acceptance of something like that for the very first time. To feel any feeling 1,000,000 times, if life is serving this for breakfast, dinner or lunch. Yeah, and this is real humility. And this is something that I'm always hammering on about, and I try to be as honest about the experience here as possible, that this isn't a get out of, on the human side, it's not a get out of life free. I used to believe that. And it really is feeling all the different colours of feelings dependent on the way that that body-mind is conditioned. And there's always a humility to those feelings. That those feelings aren't controllable. They happen. So it's beautiful. So often there was this thought, oh God, I had this feeling really, really enough times. I know it now in every colour. I don't need to feel it anymore. And I don't like to feel it anymore. 2 days ago, while taking a shower, the idea came up that all feelings want not only to be filled, but wanted to be loved, as they come from this finally. What do you think about this idea? Maybe that's rubbish, just another concept. In a way, it is just another concept. But yeah, it's really not about avoiding feelings. Just letting them come up. Beautiful, Wolfgang. Hey, Laurie. I just had this thought to tell you, Ricardo and I have talked every single Tuesday since the retreat. She has become a very close friend to me. I love her so much. We Skype for hours on Tuesday. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's sweet. That was very funny that night with you two. Thank you. This is from Monica. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Monica. Hi, Liam. So I have been getting deep insights and getting the direct experience of our true nature, but these have been short glimpses and I quickly return back to the ego state. I cry whenever the veil seems to get slowly shown. Did this ever happen to you in your journey? Yeah, I'm willing. Yeah, that did, Liam. Yeah, this gets talked about a lot. This openness to that, to this going backwards and forward, and just being honest to what's actually happening. The best way to be honest is through the actual feelings rather than the story you tell yourself. So what's your body actually feeling? Yeah, sure, you may ask a question. Patrick, can't read your other name. Yeah. So if there's anyone that wants to call, then please feel free to call. I'll take one more caller. Thanks, Liam, for your call. I'm just a little concerned about your age. Let's just work out how old you are. Yeah, I think you're 16 or 17. So I think maybe it's best that you just listen, and we don't actually have live talks. I'm sorry about that. I'm 17, yeah, I thought so. Although I look younger. Yeah. I think it's, I'm so happy that you're 17 and you're into this subject, but I think it's something I have to be a bit aware of, is waiting till you're 18. But you can listen. That's allowed. And I just think it's really cool. They're really lucky to have found this subject at such a young age. Yeah, beautiful. Hey Joss, I'll give Joss a go. Joss looks a lot older than Liam. Hey Joss.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi. Oh, hang on, just let me sort out the sound a second. 1 second.
Oh wait, I have to do this.
If you had headphones, I think the sound would be a little better. If you had a microphone, I mean.
Can you hear me like this?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, because I have headphones, but I don't know how they function on this computer.
Right. It's a little bit funny, the sound, but it's hearable.
Okay. Can you see me? Because I see it's a little dark in here.
Yeah, I can see you just about.
Okay. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm following you for quite some years, and I just want to say hello, and I feel kind of nervous.
Yeah.
I get that a lot of times, not only in this situation.
You get social nervousness?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get social nervousness too. It's a feeling, a sensation
Yeah.
that comes up.
Friends, also, when I listen to this subject, I have a lot of questions a lot of times, but at this moment,
They
I
come.
have not.
That's the great thing of the mind for you. It overworks when it's not needed, and when it's needed, it's like nothing. No, that's great. That's nice. It's okay to sit in silence as well.
Okay.
And if something comes, we can just give it a few minutes to see if anything comes. But no pressure. I thought people would be there complaining about your sound. There's a funny echo on your sound, so I'm just going to try and turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
I've turned it down a little bit. I think it looks a little better now.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of times, I. It's like I've been through a lot of things in my life,
Yeah.
like um, what I describe as psychosis, and I have since a young age, like 17, uh, like a lot of depression.
Yeah. Yeah. It's intense. Tense. Tense life it must have been. Lots of different experiences.
Yes. And the sort of the problem with it is that a lot of times it's not anymore like that I've experienced these things, but that I'm sort of still trying to figure out what it was all about, or why, or and maybe uh, like this depression part is a part of this person that's like belongs to me in this life. So sort of.
And what feeling or what would you get out of it if you worked it out? What are you looking for in working it out?
To get rid of it, I think.
To get rid of it, yeah. Yeah.
Because nowadays I can get down, but it will be for a short period of time, like one day or like a part of a day,
Yeah.
and then it's fine again. And but before it would be like months in a row or even years.
Wow, that's amazing that's changed. That's changed like that. Amazing.
Uh, and at the moment, like I don't have uh, like these other experience. What I said, like psychosis, or but sometimes still memories come back from these periods, and it's years ago I would be afraid of getting there again, or it would that it would happen again. But now it's just like it's like a remembrance of how I experienced it at that time. And the problem with these things is that they were so intense and so confusing that I cannot explain it because I didn't understand it myself at the moment
Yeah.
that it happened.
Yeah.
But like after that, also my whole life changed, and the first psychosis was in 1994, so it's a long time ago. But it was such a intense experience for like I think 5 months or maybe 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine.
So, and that's another thing is that because I'm talking about it now again, it's because it's been such a huge part of my life after that period to get to deal with that and to like you get because I was hospitalized for a period of time, and years after that I've been in and out hospitals and institutions for sometimes, and you get all kind of diagnosis,
Yeah.
and the diagnosis change over the years.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more confusing and more hard for me as a person
Yeah.
who experience these things to deal with them.
Yeah.
If you get told, for example, that it's something uncurable or you're how, um, mentally totally disturbed or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Really painful, I can imagine.
uh,
Yeah.
but that's a lot better now, so I can also really enjoy life and laugh at funny sitcoms or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. It must have been such an intense life.
uh,
It's really like I really like respect your ability to be able to talk about it and to be so open about it, because I'm sure that it must have been immense pain, and there really is a freedom beyond the experience, that you aren't that you aren't that which has happened, and that you aren't that person. But I don't mean to dismiss what you're saying to me and dismiss your openness about it,
mm,
because it must have been such an intense experience. And because I always recommend the opposite way, I don't think you'll ever be able to fully work out what happened and why it happened. And so I always recommend going back the other way, going back and feeling that comes up when you can't understand something, and that
mm,
fear of not being able to understand something, that
mm.
fear of that loss of control. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so much the fear of not being able to understand it. It's more like an intellectual thing of wanting to understand it, of
Yeah.
having some clue
Yeah.
or and a lot of times I'm not even uh, thinking about it anymore
Yeah.
that much anymore. And but it's not only with this thing, it's also with the subject of non-duality. Like when things like I don't understand, like uh, the nothingness of things, I really tend to think about it a lot and like wanting to understand that, and
Yeah.
then I only get to the point where like, well, it can't really be found, but it's probably always there, so I have to assume more or less that it's there,
Yeah.
really experiencing it, because like I don't know how to say, like I don't experience it yet. Or,
I would suggest to just really gently put the attention into the body and into what's happening in the body, like attention into the sensations. So into the sensation of touch, into the sensation of the bum on the seat, into the feelings that are happening in the body, rather than the intellect, because the intellect most probably really understands it now intellectually, so that part of it's done. So I would move it into the actual other sensations and explore them for a period. The mind, though, is quite greedy. It likes a lot of attention. It's like, no, I want to work this out. It likes to think and think and think.
yeah. And I'm really, in a way, also kind of a shy person, so I'm really proud of myself for calling you. And
Yeah,
because I was planning to do that for a long time already.
yeah, nice. Yeah, thank you for doing that. It's great. And thank you for your ability to be so honest, because what you said, for a lot of people, I'm sure there's other people out there that have experienced it, they'd feel very vulnerable to say that sort of thing. So it's also really beautiful, because the more that we speak about these things that aren't typically spoken about in society, the more that we change ideas and barriers, and it's all ideas and barriers that have locked us in this illusion.
Yes.
So it's
And
really,
yeah,
it's really
that's,
beautiful that you did that.
yeah. That's also another thing. It's what you say that all, like when you deal with these problems and these uh, how you say that, diagnose and labels about some
Yeah,
disease, and then also in society there is some kind of idea about that
yeah, yeah,
general by people
yeah.
that don't really a lot of times actually, uh, I don't know if that's the right English word, but convey the truth about it,
No, no.
or
People,
at least what it's for me. I
yeah.
don't know how it's for other people, but
No, people are really ignorant about it. And even the doctors in the medical system that
yeah,
puts these titles on it, they don't understand it. And they're often changing the names. Like they
yeah,
change the names and then they invent another disorder or another. And then it's like they're often being changed. So I think there is so much ignorance about it. And in our media and in the news, it just gets portrayed as a bad thing often. Although it's getting
yeah,
better now, it's becoming more known in society, and there is a lot more open discussion about it.
mm,
And
yeah,
I think the more that we openly discuss these things, and the more that other people can express their delusions and their lines of thinking and their problems and their issues. So I think the discussion that we've just coming from thousands and thousands of years of a society that have lived in such a tight, rigid way of thinking, and then the last 100 years that's just exploded, and the internet, in 20 years' time, the internet's going to have changed so much of what humanity thinks.
yeah,
All that free information.
yeah. That can be overwhelming too for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I think for all of us as well. It's like
Yeah,
it's only been maybe like 20 years that the internet's existed, and maybe 15 years that the majority of us are really heavily using it. And
yeah,
it's like anything. You can look up anything now at the click of your finger.
yeah.
Amazing.
But the thing for me with this, what you say about like the doctors don't really know what they're talking about a lot of times, I totally agree with that. But in a way, you have me as a person, I had to deal with them a lot,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I had to I had to find a way to understand them,
yeah,
so I could talk to them in a way that I wouldn't get into trouble
yeah,
in normal
yeah, yeah, totally.
because
Yeah, but from saying that about the doctors, I wasn't suggesting to stop communication, because it's better than a lot of other things that are offered for it in society. But just that they're still learning to try and understand what it is, and to try and understand what's happening and why it's
but
happening.
but like a lot of things, it's a problem because, for example, if you say I have a telepathic connection, for example, with my cat, they would say they wouldn't even believe it, consider that as a possibility, because
Yeah,
that probably would fit in some category of another disease.
yeah, yeah,
What they, and that's with a whole lot of things about these kind of subjects or spiritual.
yeah. I wouldn't suggest saying to your doctor that there is nobody actually in the body of their soul consciousness.
All these things you cannot say. So that, but then you get the anyway. I stopped my like talking to them or my treatment, because I didn't want it. It was already such a long time, and well, I have my own reasons for that anyway. Uh, but like for me, it gave me a lot of times a lot more work when I had to go there and speak to my doctor, to think in advance what I was going to say and what I couldn't say, because my
Yeah,
life is so different from how I think a lot of people experience their life.
yeah, yeah,
And so I get a lot of times the feeling, or like this thing, like, am I lying now? Or sometimes I have to lie because it wouldn't benefit me to tell the truth if I'm asked some kind of question. Um,
yeah,
so, and it's the for me, it left me with a lot of frustration and about not being able to be open about how I experience life without there being some kind of repercussion from society or from, because these doctors and institutes, they're part of the society, and it's a part of the society that everybody in a way knows that they exist, but nobody really knows how they function
yeah,
and what all the things that are involved. And we, as so-called patients, get treated in a certain way that doesn't a lot of times benefit us as human beings, because the way their system is set up and how they deal with these kind of things that happen to people.
yeah, yeah.
And that,
Yeah, it's something that we could talk about for hours.
uh, uh,
It's really, yeah, yeah. I really have compassion and respect for your story and what you've experienced, and that you've come to see, and you're coming to see that the freedom will never be found in the story.
no,
Never.
but no, but the story is kind of a part of me also.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
cannot
Part
deny,
of this
I
experience.
cannot,
No.
I cannot
Yeah,
deny the
no.
story also.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's a lot. That's
And if
something I'm.
it wasn't for that story, that apparent circumstances, then maybe there would have never been an exploration of this subject.
Yeah,
So
and
this goes hand in hand.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you so much for calling in and being so brave, Joss. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. It was really
thanks
lovely to meet you.
for listening, and talking about it.
With pleasure.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you. Bye. Oh, so Julio says, what a brave man, thanks from all of us. Yeah, that was really brave, Joss, being so open and honest then. Thank you, Joss. Yeah. It opens the minds to other people that don't understand it from that perspective. And it's simply a brain that has particular conditions and particular chemicals that's producing a particular reality, no different from all the other body-minds. It's just other body-mind mechanisms fit in more to what society defines you need to be. And it is a really difficult one when your brain isn't fitting in with society, then society in a way rejecting you, helping you, trying to help you, but also rejecting you. It's really intense story. Intense story. But that's enough now. My jaw is aching because I've been talking most of the day. I've been socialising a lot today and then been doing 2-hour talks, so my jaw needs to rest and my belly is looking forward to being fed. So I shall go now. Thank you so much for everyone that called in. This is from Wolfgang. I'm so deeply touched by this talk, this brave guy, his openness. I'm really glad that he managed this today to call you and to feel your empathy, your presence and love and humour. Thank you both. It's beautiful. Thanks, guys. Okay. So I shall see you again this coming Sunday on live stream, and thank you very much. Bye.